Hey Downtown Leaders, this video is for July week 3, and our life app for this month is uniqueness, discovering who God made you to be so you can make a difference. Our memory verse for the month is upside down, and it's we are God's creation. He created us to belong to Christ Jesus. Now we can do good works. Long ago, God prepared these works for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. And the first week of this month, we talked about David and Goliath, and our bottom line was God made you to be you. Then last week, we talked about the story of Abraham, and our bottom line was God made you for an adventure. And this week, we're learning about the story of Philip and the Ethiopian official, and our bottom line is God made you to follow Jesus. So again, using your attendance sheet, just ask kids if they haven't been here yet this month, make sure they get a memory verse card and a parent cue to take home with them. All right, so the title of today's lesson is Roadside Assistance. And like always, at 8:30 and 10:30, just make sure that you're here in your small group. Hold on, buddy. Hey, why don't you go cut me out something from over there, okay?
No.
Okay, then just hold on. At 8:30 and 10:30, just make sure that you're here. Pray over your list of kids, and just pray for kids who might decide to start following Jesus today. Maybe this is going to be the first time that they hear about following Jesus, and just pray for those kids. Then at 8:40 and 10:40, when your kiddos start to come in, you're going to have them join your circle, ask about their snack, make sure you know their names, pass out their snacks, sorry. Henry, no, leave those shut, no more. Sorry, he's eating the M&Ms that we're using for our food. And then you guys have some different games. You've got Noah's Ark game, that's like Old Maid, and then you've got like a Go Fish game, and then a memory game. And so you're going to kind of just pass those out and just loosely play those games. And talk about how hard it would be to play this game or any game if you didn't have instructions to follow. And then at 9 and 11, the intro activity that you're going to do is, it says to break your small group into 2 teams. But depending on how big our groups are, it might work best if you do like 4th grade boys versus 4th grade girls, 3rd grade boys versus 3rd grade girls, and 2nd grade boys versus 2nd grade girls. And what you're going to do is like someone from the 4th grade boys would pick the tallest and the shortest 4th grade girl. And then someone from the 4th grade girls would pick the tallest and the shortest 4th grade boy. And once the tallest and shortest kids have been picked, then you're going to challenge the kids to line up from tallest to shortest in their own team without talking at all. And when they're finished, just check to see if they did it correctly. And then you can challenge all of the kids to get in line from tallest to shortest. So you could do the whole room. You could do all the 4th graders, all the 3rd graders, all the 2nd graders. However it works with the kids in here this week. And then you're just going to close that by saying, so some of you guys are taller than others right now, and you're all still growing. But God made you uniquely you, and He also made you to follow someone. So we're going to head down to a large group to see who that is. So large group will be down in the community auditorium again this week. Then when you get back at 9:40 and 11:40, you're going to play a game called Grid Stories. And you have a game that looks like this, and you'll have M&Ms on your cart, and you'll want 4 people per team. So if you have, 8 kids in your group, you would have 2 grids, 2 games. If you have 10 kids in your group, you could have 2 games of 4 and a game of 2, or a few games of 3 and 1 game of 4. However it works, you don't have to have 4 people to play, but just get as close to that as possible. And what you're going to do is, the goal is to move their M&M from this side to this side, except they can only move diagonally. So they can only go like this to get over there, kind of like checkers. But if someone else is in that square already, then they can't move to it. So I couldn't go that way. I would have to go that way. They could go backwards. They can go any diagonal they want, but it has to be diagonal, and you can't have 2 M&Ms in the same square. And so the first M&M to make it over to the next side is the winner. So then you have all these questions, and what they're going to do is you'll ask them a question about the Bible story. If they get it right, they get to move their M&M. If they get it wrong, then they lose their turn, and the next person gets to go. So you have 20 different questions that can get them across the board. And then when they finish, you're just going to say, great job, everybody. They can eat their M&M. You really listened during our story today, and Philip was able to tell the Ethiopian official that God made you to follow Jesus. And that's true for us too. We can follow Jesus by believing in Him and what He did for us when He died on the cross and rose again. And as we learn more about what Jesus did for us, our relationship with God grows. So then make it personal and tell the kids about when you first learned about Jesus and when you made the choice to follow Him, and just talk about your story, whatever it might be. And so then you just close by saying, I love my relationship with God. I'm so thankful that somebody helped me, like Philip helped that official. So you guys could always talk to me or your parents or another adult if you have questions about what it means to follow Jesus. Just remember that God made us to follow Jesus. And then for the memory verse review, what you're going to do is you're going to look up Ephesians 2:10. You can use the memory verse cards. Practice the memory verse several times with the motions because it's a long one this week. And then you're going to point to the phrase at the end of the verse that says, now we can do good works. And you're just going to ask your kids, who is that we? And what are some examples of the good works that we can do? And then you'll have a baggie of labels on your cart. And you're going to give a Lego to each kid. They might each have 2. That's fine. And you're going to go around the circle and let each kid say a word of the verse. And each time they say a word, they're going to stack their Lego tower even taller. And they're going to add their Lego on. So you're just going to close by saying, we are God's creation, and he created us to belong to Jesus. And that's another way of saying that God made us to follow Jesus. And I'm so thankful that God made each one of you and that he has big plans for your life. And I just want to challenge you guys to look for opportunities to do good works this week. And then finally, when you pray, instead of passing around a mirror, if you guys could just get out your phones and put them on camera mode and then turn it around like you're taking a selfie, we're just going to pass that around, and kids are going to look at themselves in your phone and just say, I was made to follow Jesus. And then let kids have a few seconds, a few minutes to pray on their own silently that God can help them follow Jesus this week. And then you can just close with this prayer down here. And just remind kids to tell their parents that God made us to follow Jesus when they pick up this week. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for leading our 2nd through 4th graders in downtown. And, sorry, we're playing Mario now. Thank you guys for being small group leaders. What you do every week is awesome and amazing. I'm so, so thankful for you. And I'll see you guys on Sunday.